Okay, so we're going to be creating this. Okay, so we're going to be creating this sound. It's pretty awesome. It's fairly complex, so bear with me and make sure to pause the video if you get stuck and just try to work out what I'm doing. And again, if you have any questions, I'm here to help, so leave them below. So we're going to insert a new MIDI track as usual and pull in an instance of Serum. I'm just going to copy this pattern over. And we will mute this. So we have this at the moment, very boring. The first thing we're going to do is change the oscillator to something a little bit more interesting. Okay, and if you remember, we had a oscillator or waveform called Razor. So straight away we have a better sound. We're going to turn the unison up to 4 and a detune down just a little bit. So we have a very wide sound now. And I'm going to turn the wavetable position up to a point where I like the kind of tone. So around there, very digital. But we want this kind of rhythmic sound that we've got up here, right? So how do we do that? Well, we use an LFO to modulate the level. And this is kind of interesting. So we're going to pull the level all the way down. Then we're going to pick LFO. Let's use LFO 3, for instance. It's out of the way, to modulate the level of the oscillator, okay? And so I want this to come up roughly halfway. And now if I play this, it's going to follow this curve, the volume of the sound. So we have a kind of wobble sound, right? But we don't want a wobble sound, we want something rhythmic, something a bit more complex and something a bit faster. So we're going to create that now. I'm just going to create a quick pattern by pointing and clicking. But I'm going to change the rate to 1/2 and let's get started. So the first thing I want is to start off up the top. We might have a dip in here for the same length of time. So just get a little bit fiddly doing this, but the things you have to do as a music producer. Just make sure that is aligned. It can be kind of hard to see. So now we have this. Pretty cool. We're going to make this just a triangle so it's nice and short. And we'll pull this one up here. Sometimes it can help to have a kick drum or a metronome going. And we'll have this curved down. So we can curve it by clicking that and dragging. We have another peak up here. I'm going to curve this one too. And we want a little dip at the end here, so. That's pretty cool. Disable this metronome. If we change the rate, it's just going to change the speed of this LFO. Too slow. Too fast. Too fast. So 1/2 is good. Okay, so we're getting there, but we don't have the right sound yet. It's still a little bit weak and boring. So first things first, we're going to run this through a filter, a high pass filter. Just get rid of some of the lows. Do high 18. Pull the cutoff down a bit. We'll also turn the resonance up. That'll come in handy in a second. We'll turn the drive up as well. And we will also... Yeah, we'll pull the level down. Now that might sound awfully quiet to you. That's okay because we're going to make it loud in a second. We're going to add some distortion, okay? So at the moment we've got this. But it's not that great. So what we're going to do is add, first of all, some distortion. We're going to keep it on tube. We're going to change it to pre. And we're going to choose bandpass for this, more or less. Okay. I'm going to turn the drive all the way up now. We'll have it somewhere around there, and we're just going to push this all the way up. It's a little bit fiddly, but this dramatically changes the sound, right? Okay, so we're going to add an EQ after this, and we're going to just get rid of some of the lows. Turn the gain up. We'll also boost the mids a little bit, okay? So let's grab this. And just push the gain up. Cool, now we're going to add a compressor, and this will also change the sound. We want it after the EQ though. Going to pull the threshold down, going to enable multi-band. And you can just hear how much of a difference that makes. It's awesome. Going to turn the volume down a little bit. Turn the gain up. And we'll leave it at that. And we'll also add a hyper/dimension after this. So we're going to have a little bit of dimension to make it nice and wide. And we'll turn the mix down on this. Awesome. So without all these effects, we have this. Very quiet, very boring. We enable these. Completely changes the sound. So do not underestimate the use of effects when you're doing sound design. They are an integral part, and you often can't really get the sound you like without them. So that's our acid line. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, because this was a little bit more complex than the other couple of videos, just leave them below and I'll get back to you. Otherwise, it's time to move on to the next module, where I'm going to share some tips that I think will help you work on your original project. So I'll see you then.